Are you accessing your inner wisdom? Hey, this is Elaine Starling. I'm the Abundance Ambassador and the host of the Abundance Journey podcast and video show. And that's such an important question that we need to continually ask ourselves throughout the day. Are you truly accessing your inner wisdom? Or are you getting distracted by all the stuff that's happening around you? Well, I'm super excited today because we're going to get a chance to chat with Ronnie Ann Ryan. She's a business intuitive and a highly successful entrepreneur. She's been at this for over 30 years. Her clients absolutely adore her direct, no-nonsense style. She's got so many keen insights with very practical, actionable advice. She's so good at relying on her intuition to provide incredible clarity. She helps her clients achieve their goals and make super important decisions. She also helps her clients tap into their own inner wisdom. Hey, sign me up for some of that. Ronnie, I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Elaine. How fabulous. I'm really excited to be here too.
It's going to be such a fun conversation. Yeah, I have to ask you though, because everybody has something that drives them, something that energizes them. And I know you're really, really passionate about helping people get that connection going and helping them understand the intuitive steps that are needed for their business. Why are you so passionate about that? What got you going?
Well, what a great question, Elaine, really. I've been, as you mentioned, an entrepreneur for a long time. And so in my business, I was in marketing consulting and brand marketing and copywriting, but I've also been a coach for 20 years. So the brand marketing was very different for me than the coaching marketing, And so people were pushing me and saying, you need a marketing plan. You need a marketing plan. And I have an MBA, so I understand how to write a marketing plan, but I was resistant. I like to fly by the seat of my pants or whatever. And so one year I thought, all right, I'm just going to cave. I'm going to do the marketing plan. I'm going to do the traditional thing. And let's see what happens. Worst year in business. Really. I am so I went back to flying by the seat of my pants because it works for me. And that's why I want people to be able to tap into their intuition. Not that you shouldn't do anything traditional, not that you shouldn't do your business analysis and make sure you do your research or whatever, but sometimes you just need that intuitive edge to kind
Absolutely.
of, bring it all together, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That intuition that you're receiving, that's divine guidance. And when you align what you're trying to do with what the divine wants to accomplish, all of a sudden, baby, you're cooking on cooking with gas. There we go. All cylinders wasn't working with the gas analogy, but mixing my metaphors just a tiny bit. So obviously, we're talking about the abundance journey, and there's so many different ways to define abundance. Given what you do, how would you define what abundance is for your clients?
Wow, that's a big question. I don't think there's one way to define it. I think you're right. I think it's going to be highly individual. For some people, they want an abundance of clients. For other people, they want an abundance of free time. For, some people, they want an abundance of blog posts and fans on their Facebook page or whatever, followers. So I think it's probably very, very different. And I don't think I can define that for other people. I think everyone needs to define that for themselves.
Yeah, I think also for me, an abundance of that connection with that intuition.
I love that.
That is really key. Because yes, it's wonderful that you can give me guidance. That's fabulous. And at the same time, if I can learn to access that guidance readily and be comfortable with it and trust it and just move with it, then I'm in flow and everything becomes easy and fun. So yeah, I love what you're up to. So
thank you.
One of the biggest challenges I think we all run into is we're kind of heads down and we're just going through as fast as we can. We're trying to get everything done. And it's not until we get burnt out or things blow up that we stop for a second and go, there's got to be a better way. So could you help us with identify just one little symptom that might be happening in our lives that's just a teensy little wake up call to say, darling, there could be a better approach. You might want to ping your intuition here.
Okay. So this isn't a teeny one. This is kind of a bigger one, but a woman called me yesterday who I've known for years, back from my freelance marketing days. And she said, "Oh, I can't believe what you're doing now. I really want to talk to you because I just lost my third job in 3 years as a result of finances for the companies that she was working for." And she was just so upset, like, but she'd been hit by the 2x4 at this point, because it wasn't not once, not twice, but 3 times. And so what I heard was, you're done working for somebody else, and it's really time for you to just go out on your own, get some clients, and stop being at the mercy of somebody else's checkbook, because she's completely capable of getting her own clients. And she'd been thinking about it, but she didn't take any action on that. Understandably, because when you're employed, you get benefits, and there's all kinds of things. There are real advantages to being employed versus being self-employed. So, because when you're self-employed, you have to work in your business and on your business. It's a lot, but that's the timing for her. And so that's what we talked about. So that was a sign. Sometimes the signs are smaller. Sometimes the signs are really big.
Yeah, it's easy to see the great big signs. And it's not always easy to tap into the little bitty signs. But from my perspective, you know what? You woke up, that's a sign. It's time to ping your intuition, right? You first thing before you even get out of bed, ping that intuition before every meeting.
Yeah, I could give you another one.
Yeah.
Okay. So when let's say people are showing you some disrespect, they're not appreciating you, or they say unkind things, or they disregard you, or whatever, that is a time to really look within to see, why is this happening? What is the message of this? Is everybody else a jerk out there? No. It doesn't mean those are all nice people, but why is that happening? How is that being attracted? And so that's something you want to look at too. And, it could be any number of things. It could be that you don't respect yourself, or you don't stand up for yourself, or, there probably are a lot of other possibilities, but I was just trying to give you a smaller indicator of something that you've got to figure out when something happens. To me, 3 times is the charm, whether it's something that's working or something that's not working. It lets you know if you've seen something repetitively, it's time to sit down and pay attention.
That is really, really true. So one of the challenges that I think a lot of us have, we would so like our external world to change without us having to do anything. Like, please bring out the magic wand now. And to date, I've never found anybody with a magic wand. You might be unique in that, Ronnie, but I doubt it. So there's always, nice. There's always something that has to change internally before the external world mirrors that. What do you find really needs to change for people internally so they can access that intuition?
Well, that's a really good question too. I think that a willingness is first. Are you open to the idea of inner wisdom, and that you have the answers within you if you can get quiet? Are you willing to get quiet and tune in and give yourself that time? It doesn't have to be hours. It could be 10 minutes. Are you willing to, try to make it a practice? Like, I'm not somebody who's super disciplined and feels like you have to do something every single day, because I don't want to do something every I'm a rebel. I'm sorry. So, but you could, if you're the kind of person who likes to, by all means. But anyway, just do it as many days a week as you can, because the consistency, the more you practice, the easier it gets, the more familiar you are, the more comfortable you are, the more confident you are. So I think those are some of the things that could make a big difference for almost anybody.
That is really good. Yeah, the consistent practice is key. Absolutely. The more comfortable, more familiar you are with it, the more comfortable you get. So absolutely. So I do have another question for you, because part of the challenge is we often give up too early, right? We think that it should just happen overnight and should get instant results. And things don't show up that way. There's always the training wheels that we have to put on the bike before we learn how to actually ride the bike. So what's like a baby step that we can focus on that will get us started, that will start building that momentum?
All right, this is a great question. So I think the best thing to do is start in low risk areas because, you know, I remember years and years ago, I was in my 20s and I worked for Coleco Toys, which I don't think they exist anymore. And they were talking about all this stuff in a meeting. And I thought, I'm going to go buy stock. So I went and bought stock in the company and immediately went up. And after 2 weeks, I wanted to sell it. And they're like, you don't buy stock and sell it in 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I really want to sell it. They're like, no, you can't sell it now. You got to let it sit there, blah, blah. Guess what it did? Tank. So, I couldn't start there. That wasn't a good place to start. So instead, start with which way to go home at night. If you have different ways to drive, or start with something about, you're going to have a meeting and you're going to meet somebody new, whether they're going to be one of your subcontractors or provide some kind of service for you or something. Try to tune into them and see, well, what kind of person are they like? What's their energy like? What's the best way to approach them? Because you'll find out when you meet them, and then you'll get a sense of, oh, how on target was I or not? So if you practice that, that could be really helpful.
That is a great idea.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, very low risk. Because every single situation you're put into is designed to be a blessing for you. And so, instead of approaching meeting someone as, oh, it's another, taking up my time and I should be doing something else. And, oh, I hope they don't take up all, instead of doing that, what if you leaned in with love and you said, I know this is going to be an incredible blessing. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I might discover a new resource. I might make a great connection. They might have a referral for me. There's all these different ways that this could be an incredible, expansive experience for both of us.
Yes.
And
for
sure. When you have that kind of an attitude and you develop a curiosity and a sense of wonder about it and a deep appreciation for whatever shows up, then you get even more blessings showing up. So,
well, that is a beautiful thing. And I completely agree with you, because then you're setting your expectations on something positive. And then because that's an intention, then you're setting an intention to help things manifest in the best way possible, because you're considering all the good things that could happen and you're expecting something wonderful. And I think that's incredibly powerful. That's, in a way, that's sending your energy forward. It's like pre-paving whatever your experience is going to be. And that's a really marvelous way to live and interact with people. So, yeah.
Ronnie, we have so much in common here, because I did a TEDx talk called Abundance is a Choice. And one of the things that I talk about is intention, how you want to feel, and attention, where you put your focus.
Yeah.
And so, intention actually drives everything else.
Everything. Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for bringing that in, because that's a really important reminder. So, Ronnie, one of the things that we do that's a little unique to the Abundance Journey is we always turn the tables on our guests, because we know that when we give is when we truly receive. That's when the floodgates open. So what could we do to support you?
Well, that's so generous of you. Let's see. Well, you could just, I guess, let people know if they're struggling and they just need that intuitive edge. Like, one of my clients said to me, oh, you know what? You're like somebody with a crystal ball. Now, I don't work with a crystal ball, but it's a metaphor. So if you feel like there's somebody, or if anybody who's listening knows somebody who could just really do with a little insight to have greater understanding and wisdom, I'd be so happy to help.
Excellent. Well, I'll make sure that your website link is in the show notes so everybody can find you and they can refer people to you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Ronnie, thank you so much for joining us today. I want everybody to stay tuned, because we're about to activate abundance. Man, I loved what Ronnie had to say. she really made me step back and look at myself and think about, am I truly following through and tapping into that intuition? Am I receiving the guidance that's there for me? Because sometimes I get busy, I get distracted. It's like I have my list of things I need to get done for the day and meetings to attend, and I forget that that guidance is there all the time. So I really appreciate having that time with Ronnie, and I want to help you activate abundance. Now, we're going to go through the 5-step process, and in truth, I want you to activate abundance all the time. In every conversation, after every meeting, this is how you ignite abundance in your life. You use these 5 steps. Okay, ready, set, paying attention? All right. Step 1, gratitude. I am so grateful for the opportunity to connect with Ronnie because she opened my awareness to something that I don't always pay attention to. And it's really frustrating when you don't know what you don't know, right? At least if you have a clue, this might be something to pay attention to. Hey, I have an option. I can actually tune into it and pay attention to it. So I'm deeply grateful to Ronnie because she's just very matter of fact. She's very open and generous and kind in her comments, and she gives great examples. So I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to connect with Ronnie and get her insights. Step 2, acknowledge something you learned or something you heard that was a reminder. Ooh, I had a tough time just picking one, but I did. Because when I was asking Ronnie about what is the most important internal shift, and she said willingness. Oh, yeah, that kind of hit me where I live. It's so true. When we're convinced that we already know and we've already got it figured out and it's already my way and I don't want to have to deal with any other perspectives. I don't want to, you've got the blinders on, right? And you think that you know what you're doing, but you're about to run into a brick wall. And that need to be right, it's one of the things I talk about in my TED Talk, that need to be right is actually the ego taking over. And the ego chokes out your intuition, your connection with the divine. The divine has much bigger vision for you than anything you could imagine. So just being aware, am I willing or am I resisting this? Yeah. I get to choose. I have free will on how much resistance I want to put out there. And from where I stand, I know if I get rid of the resistance and I'm totally receptive, that's when things just get into flow. It's easy, it's effortless, it's fun, it's joyous. So I want that awareness. That's really key. I need to acknowledge, am I willing? And 3rd step is appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Just being aware of my state of mind and whether I'm resisting or I'm willing allows me to make a shift in the present moment. It allows me to get curious. And I know that she asked a question that was so important. What is the message in this for me? Because absolutely everything is a divine blessing for you. Everything, especially the things that seem really stinky. The ones that you're just like, oh gosh, no. That's a super huge blessing for you. And a master stops resisting and starts leaning in with love to find out, what is that hidden message for me? How am I being inspired and empowered and encouraged to grow here? Because that's what the game is all about. You continually get to expand more and more. So step 1, gratitude. Step 2, acknowledge. And I'm acknowledging my willingness. And then I appreciate that it gives me the option. It allows me to use my superpower of choice and choose to ping my intuition and connect with the divine. That's really powerful. Step 4, activate abundance. There are 2 ways you activate. You either pick a reminder, it's an anchor for you so that when this kind of a situation happens, this is what I do. Or you actually put it on your calendar. You schedule time to do it. What I want to do is make this just a natural automatic trigger, a ping. I want to check in with the divine on a regular basis because I don't want to show up from ego. I don't want this to be about, am I having a bad hair day, and getting myself all tied up in knots, because it's truly not about me. It's about me getting out of the way and allowing the divine to flow through me so you get exactly the message you need to hear. It doesn't have anything to do with me, really. And that just feels so much better. Oh, it takes a huge weight off. So I want to ping the divine on a regular basis and continually ask myself, okay, can I step out of the way here? And what will serve you best in this moment? Because when you receive the blessing, that's when I get the blessing. It's a twofer every single time. Okay. So that's how I'm going to activate abundance. Step 5, celebrate your progress. You're making some moves here, honey. You're moving the needle. You are taking actions that are transforming your life and transforming your abundance. This is what it looks like when it's working. You've got some great ideas to share with your friends and family. You've got new post ideas. You've got new social media sharing ideas. You're connected with this incredible woman, Ronnie Ryan. Isn't she amazing? And when you're ready to really increase that connection with your intuition, you know to look her up because she's got the secret sauce that can really help you get connection with the divine. Whew, what a fun day. This is Elaine Starling. Thank you so much for joining me for the Abundance Journey. Make sure you check out the next episode. I'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.